Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Todd, Southern Sipper, back from what seems like forever since I was able to do one of these. I want to apologize to everybody, man. It's been crazy. I did a little video talking about mom was in the hospital. She had to have a pacemaker put in, and we all thought that, I was just going to fix her right up, but it just didn't. It's been a pretty slow process getting her back, to close to where she was, and she's finally feeling a lot better, and now she's moving around more and she's eating better and all this other stuff. I mean, we're over there a lot, so there just hadn't been a lot of time to sit down and do this, and then it compounds with work. We throw this enormous event every spring, and that was this past weekend. So that's come and gone, and the amount of work that goes into that is just astronomical. And then to compound the problem, we had, and that's coming up in a couple of weeks, it's our big 50th anniversary party for the facility where I work, and the projects involved in that are just nuts. And I love projects. I'm kind of a project-oriented, kind of dude. So generally, I like this kind of thing, but it's just there's a lot of them, and it's been crazy. And then the third thing, is if you keep up with the channel, I thought I just had the flu or a cold or something all the way back in February, just right towards the end of Mardi Gras. Couldn't get better. I kept thinking I was going to shake it, and just couldn't. It just would not go away. Well, boys and girls, that's what it's like when you got walking pneumonia. You don't want it. I don't like it. I'll tell you right now. No, sir, I don't like it. But that's gone now. Mom's back squared away. We're real close to being back on normal schedule at work, and I am back to my usual ill-tempered self. So, with all that being said, let me tell you what's coming up with the channel. I'm going to do the review last, for those of you that aren't interested in the beer reviews. I'm going to go ahead and get all this out of the way. While all this was going on, I was shopping and buying, some more Delta stuff to review. Got it sitting in there ready to go. There's a Delta review coming up this weekend, and I ain't going to lie to you, looking forward to it. I have not felt well. Mom hadn't been well, and I have been and I can't miss. Got so much going on at work, I couldn't stay away. I mean, I'm the guy there, and that's I guess that just comes with the territory when the word director in front of your damn name is part of it. But it's all there, so we are going to get back on schedule with THC or Delta 9 reviews, Delta whatever reviews, and of course some beer reviews. Now that all of that has been covered, we're going to go right into this one. And let me tell y'all right now, for this getting back in the saddle thing, I was looking for something just easy and fun to do. This weather is just spectacular out. The time has changed, so I got these just beautiful afternoons this time of year. And I didn't want to have to think a lot about, overanalyze this particular adult malted beverage. So was in my favorite place, Rouse's, and what did I find? Over in the Build Your Own was this monster, man. Let me tell you, so there's a long story that goes along with this stuff, and we're going to cover all that in this one. This one's going to be 15 plus damn minutes, so y'all bear with me. I can't get it open. Sometimes these things, man, it just peels your fingernails back. And now, in case you don't know it, that's just Foster's. It's Australian for beer, and it is, as it says here on the can, celebrated worldwide. Founded in Australia, But this is brewed in Fort Worth, Texas, under the supervision of Foster's Brands Incorporated. Now, if I really wanted to get all into it, I'd look up, what major breweries are in Fort Worth, Texas, and we'd know, which one of them's doing it. You know what? And
Good with that. I'll be out here, being out here.
oh yeah. What I need for the dog, what I need for her to do is get behind me and and poop.
Yeah.
Like she always does. This just brings back a ton of memories. We're going to cover all that here in a minute. It just smells great. It smells like it's a lager. We all know it's a lager. A little musty. Just kind of pick out the hops, but it's mostly, yeasty and bready. This is a 24.5 ounce can. We used to call them oil cans when I was a young man. And it is 5% ABV. It is quite light in flavor. It's got a nice color.
I guess she's done.
I guess so. I mean, it's a bit more flavorful than our American lagers, particularly the light American lagers. There's really not a lot, and that's one reason I picked this thing, just because they're fun. It's 5%, so you can drink a bunch of it, and there's a bunch of it in that can. It's biscuity and crackery. It is lightly hopped, which is more than I can say for like Miller. I'm not sure Miller even uses them. I don't know, but I forget if it's Miller or Budweiser that got some marketing term to, double hop or some crap. I can't remember, but this one, I mean, it is absolutely crystal clear. It's super easy. If there's enough flavor there to keep you interested. It is malty, bready, yeasty, and all that. It's a nice beer, man. But see, when I first discovered these, it was such a treat because I like bigger. I always have. I enjoy bigger beers, even when I was young. But you have to realize that I'll be 61 in a couple of weeks, and when I hit drinking age, which back in that day was 19, when I went to the damn store, there wasn't shit in there. Bud and Miller. You couldn't even get Coors here. They didn't distribute on my side of the Mississippi River, I believe, was the demarcation point. Didn't even know it existed. It existed. Then there were all the outliers, Schlitz, Old Milwaukee, Pabst, PBR, which suddenly here, I don't know, a few years ago got super popular again. They couldn't give it away back then. There was some god awful stuff too, like Carling's Black Label. I couldn't even. Jesus, I have no idea what they're doing over there. Where they are, they're in the street. That's one block this way. They got a big trailer. They're gonna unload something large here in a minute, and I'm sure it's gonna make all sorts of freaking racket. But anyway, when I go to the store, those were your options. It was bleak, man. It was not a good time to be a beer drinker. On occasion, I'd buy a 6-pack of Michelob, which was had a little bit more going on. I did love back then Lowenbrau. Couldn't find it. that was rare. It was sad. And then, the salt in the wound was you didn't get anything new for so long, and what and the new stuff that came out was friggin' light beer. How did you make it less flavorful? It was bad. And then what you don't know about the old Sipper, is I was for a time a professional was a professional water skier. I was a paid professional athlete, and I moved up to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, 1982, or as us old folks would say, 1982. Skiing for Tommy Bartlett's Water Circus. We did 3 shows a day. I forget what they paid me. It wasn't an awful lot of money, but it was certainly enough, to have a lot of fun with. And all of the people that skied in the show lived on site. It was, oh man, what a great time. And at the same time, the World's Fair was going on in Knoxville, Tennessee, which was it's just right down the road from Pigeon Forge. And I went to the World's Fair multiple times, but the way it worked was we skied. Everybody skied 6 days a week, 3 shows a day, and there was no more than a couple or 3 of us off on the same day. So it was rare to have friends to go over there with. There were these rare occasions, whether it was weather or some other odd event, that all of us got to be off on the same day. And when that happened, it was a no-brainer. We all piled up in this big van, didn't have any friggin' seats in it or anything, and hauled ass over to the World's Fair. And okay, and drank way too damn much.
No, I was telling her she's staying out this time.
Oh, I thought you were telling me she's gonna stay out this time.
No, I was telling her she's staying out this time instead of her coming, running to me to come out the door every 5 minutes.
Oh, well, just leave her out here. I got it. She might even be coming into view here in a minute. Anyway, that's where I discovered Foster's. The Budweiser had a big pavilion there. It was huge. I always went there and had Budweiser, and looked at the Clydesdales and all that. It was a great place. Stroh's was another one. They had a pavilion there, and the beer in there was way good. From what I was told, it wasn't the American brewed version of Stroh's. It was an imported for the World's Fair. It was really freaking tasty, and it was a big Bavarian theme bar with the freaking playing the polka stuff and lederhosen and the whole shittery. We'd go in there and drink a couple pitchers. Well, by then things were starting to head a little bit south, and then we would wind up wrapping the day up at the damn Australian pavilion and drinking Foster's. Well, that first one I had, I thought, honestly, I'd died and gone to heaven. This is one of the best tasting beers because, the times were so rough for beer drinkers and the choices were so limited. It was just great. Now, on one particular occasion, by the time we made that roll around and got to the Australian pavilion, I didn't have a lot left in the tank. Not even going to lie to you. I got a couple of these big pigs down, and my head was down on they had picnic tables in there because it was supposed to be like the Outback, and my old head went plunk down on the table, and it was nighty night. And eventually I woke up and looked around, and almost everybody was still there that I went with. A couple of guys were missing. Well, where's Larry? I'm not going to use any last names. I want to get him in. It was a long time ago, but And they told, well, Larry decided he was wanting to go back. He left. Well, I thought, well, how, I'm drunk as whiskey, but how in the hell is he going to get back? What is he going to do? Well, we finally, we got up and limped all of our butts out to exit, and the freaking van is 18 miles across this enormous parking lot. And the other guy, Joe, he decided he needed to pee somewhere along the way, and he was leaning against the car, and the guy that owned the car and his wife walked up. They didn't say anything to him. They just opened the door and got in, and the guy just put the car in drive and drove away with Larry. Larry was walking with Joe leaning against the car. When the edge of the car went past, old Joe just right over laid over on his side. I had to go over there and help him get up. But eventually, we all got in the van. Now, there was a guy also in the show, and his name escapes me, but he was a non-drinker. Ron Koenig, I think. Enormous guy. He didn't drink at all. So he always drove us to these affairs. He thought this was the most fun thing in the world for him to watch all of us misbehave. But so we get on the road and we're on the freaking interstate, somewhere between Pigeon Forge and Knoxville, and we come upon Larry staggering down the interstate. How he got where he got without getting picked up is to this day beyond me. Well, we pulled over and he rolled in the damn side door and off we went. I woke up the next day in the van. I never went back in the house. I shared a house with two other guys. One of them just happened to be Australian, and the other one was an Englishman. That was a lot of fun listening to those two go back and forth. But never drink with an Englishman. I learned that too. But anyway, we all got back. I woke up, and I was still in the van. I don't know. It was early in the morning. We had to ski the next day. We had to ski that day, as a matter of fact. But that was at 11 o'clock, and I was a young man. You shake things off a whole hell of a lot quicker, at 20 than you do when you're my age now. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, the stories from that year. Oh, good grief. So anywho, that's the end of that. More to come, I suppose. Now that I should be able to do these, I feel better about doing them, and I'm not having to tie up so much of my time. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going to finish this big old thing. I'm going to sit right out here in this glorious weather and drink this beer. I'm sure Mrs. Sipper's probably going to come out here with me in a couple of minutes. But thanks for for those who've made it to the end of this thing. I want to thank everybody for hanging in with the channel during my hiatus, and it means a lot to me. I do appreciate it. I'd like to get this thing rolling again, and get back to regular content. So with all that being said, as always, please like and subscribe and all that bit, and enjoy your adult malted beverages responsibly.